Bill Ackman says Harvard losing tax exemption is fair game. This is a Wall Street Journal story. Rob, go for it.
Fair to try to take the tax-exempt status away?
I think it's fair. Again, the Harvard became, over time, a political advocacy organization for one party. When a university goes from being a university to, affecting becoming a political advocacy organization, it doesn't deserve nonprofit status. I mean, and they have to. Harvard should be a place where students go to learn and the best research gets done. It shouldn't be a place that is allowing, pro-terrorist organizations on campus, that only allows, certain kinds of thinking and speech on campus. That's a political advocacy organization. It's not a university. So I don't think we're going to end up there where Harvard loses its tax-exempt status. I want Harvard to succeed. It's been very important to me over time. But really, it got itself to a very bad place. And Alan Garber is a good president, but he's not managing. The mismanagement here is Penny Pritzker. If this were any other kind of corporation, the notion that she's still chairman of Harvard, leading the charge here, and in terms of how Harvard managed everything from COVID, and I know we have to go, but it's an important topic, to endowment management, to waste, to free speech, to who they hired as president of the university. It's time for a change in leadership in the board at Harvard.
Tom, thoughts?
I think he's absolutely right. Bill Ackman's calling it out. And also, you have to remember, just get past the fog of this, America. These are private institutions with endowments in the tens of billions of dollars, still charging full price to students who can finally get in, and taking your tax money in the form of federal grants to do research. And if you're taking tax money from you and me because our senators and congressmen are sending it through committees and sending it there for research, then guess what? You get a say. And the guy at the top of our government is the President of the United States, who is saying that if you're going to be discriminatory in admissions, if you're not going to protect one group of students on campus from the from violent protest and verbiage and calls for violence against them, the way the Jewish students were feeling it and seeing it and being concerned, then what are you doing? Then I'm sorry, you don't get money from the taxpayer. You're not going to. Look at it this way. You've got one set of taxpayers, Jewish students and their parents, and other sets of taxpayers over here that may not even be from the United States, and you're not even protecting those taxpayers on your private campus, then I'm sorry, you don't get public dollars. And that's what he's saying. And Bill's being very balanced. He's saying that the board is the problem. He's saying that he thinks Alan Garber is, by and large, a pretty reasonable leader. Bill said that. But he also said the concept that a board is doing this is wrong. If this was a publicly traded company, they would have made the change already because they would have been scared about their stock price. But they're private. And as a private company taking public dollars, you need to be called to account. You're being called to account. And instead of saying we're sorry, instead of saying we'll change it, instead of saying you're right, maybe these Jewish students and people on campus shouldn't have felt fear with these protests, they say, your move is highly illegal and destructive to Harvard. Well, damn right it is. And it should be destructive to you if you need public funds to survive, yet you're sitting on tens of billions of dollars in endowment. Are you kidding me? So I think Bill Ackman was right. And if anything, he's a little bit measured, because I think for too long, they've become political institutions. Harvard was founded to serve the community, and one of the purposes, so people that say it was founded as a seminary is wrong, but one of the key purposes was to train ministers for public service. So how far the apple has fallen from the tree.
Adam.
Harvard received the worst score ever in the free speech rankings for universities. Rob, I just sent you that. If you want to pull that up, I think we've discussed this before.
Many times, yeah.
So why is that? Why their grade was so bad that they dominated every single school, including Yale, Dartmouth, Cornell, Stanford. Why is Harvard so atrocious when it comes to free speech? It also leading the league in political activism, leading the league in discrimination, leading the league in anti-Semitism. they're no longer an education institute. It would appear, and they're an indoctrination institute. So I don't get great pride in dismantling Harvard like this. They should be a great university where our best and brightest basically can go and change the world. But, you talked about what Harvard was founded on. What's Harvard's slogan or their motto? It is Veritas, which stands for truth. Shout out to James O'Keefe, who used to be Project Veritas. What kind of
Pete
truth?
Hegseth talked about that here on the podcast.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
I think didn't he go there?
Yeah, he did.
What kind of truth is actually established at Harvard these days? It would just seem that the only truth there is that unless you're super liberal, you have no place in Harvard. You've talked about when you went and you did, I think, the Harvard Business School, the business program, about nobody on campus whatsoever was supporting the conservative Trump side of things.
By the way, Bill Ackman.
It was anti-American at the least.
Yeah, Bill Ackman here, who you just heard speak, went to Harvard and gave over $25 million to Harvard. This is not just a regular guy that's sitting there talking. This is a $9 billion guy that's given $25 million, that's supported Harvard, who's coming out being that critical about what they're doing. Vinny, any final thoughts on this?
You know what name popped out when you said, so Penny Pritzker runs Harvard's board, right? J.B. Pritzker runs Illinois to the ground. She's pushing this globalist BS through the Ivy League while he's bankrupting the state with all the failed policies and handouts.
Is this the same Pritzker family?
That's the same Pritzker family, and it's almost like, what are you guys doing? You know what I mean? Crime, especially in Illinois, with him trying to threaten. Like, to me, that was a dog whistle, what he's doing. She's running the school. She has a big say, right, Pat? If you're the freaking Tom, if you're running the board at Harvard and all these policies and all this crap is happening, does the majority of it fall on you? If you're running the board of a company?
Yeah.
So
the boards nowadays can get sued by the shareholders. And now if someone asks you to be on a board of a company, and Pat and I both know about this, they want to check you out and you ask, okay, well, do you have officer and director's insurance? And what is the status of your board? Do you want me to be on the compensation committee, the audit committee? The boards are there and the board members can be sued. So the board members have more accountability than ever, which is why boards sometimes take actions quickly, good boards, against the CEO that's way outside the lines.
Oh,
Do you know what the Pritzker family is famous for? Do you know who they are? Do you know how they made their money?
I've read.
I do know they don't take good pictures on May the 4th be with you.
Absolutely not.
Have you seen
Did
this?
you
No.
see that?
There's certain pictures you should not post with your family.
Ever, especially if you're not in
It
shape.
just doesn't make sense. Like, look at that. That's the picture.
That's-
May the 4th, they
wow.
posted
God.
this.
May the food be with you.
What it is.
It is with them.
Chicago's got great food. They're
It is.
famous for the Hyatt hotels.
Yeah.
That's who they created. They're one of the richest families in America. I think Penny and JB are first cousins. I used to be, I would say, friends of friends with one of the younger cousins, Jason Pritzker, who was friends with my friend Joe back in the day. But this is a deeply entrenched Democratic family with billions of dollars behind them. And where they go, wokeness will follow. And may the 4th be with you, apparently.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, folks, we're going to be okay with this one, but it is what it is. Sometimes those pictures you post, it's got to be. Look, I've been guilty of posting Halloween pictures, and
Yeah,
then
it's
afterwards
fine.
I'm like, you know what? That was a bad mistake. So I've been
That's
in the
one.
same. Next week is Armed Forces Day, and we're celebrating folks who were in the military. I was in the Army. Vinny here was in the Air Force. And so we came out with these hats simply because of a lot of people were asking about it. And here's how it looks. It's a Future Looks Bright hat with the sticker. Listen to it.
Oh, I love
Isn't that
that.
awesome?
And then, oh, what?
So you see it says Future Looks Bright, but you get to put the USMC, Future Looks Bright, on there. We have it for Navy, Future Looks Bright. We have it for Army Green,
That's
Future
bad.
Looks
I
Bright.
love that.
They're all here. And then we also have the what do you call it? The shirts, Navy, Army, Air Force, Armed Forces that are there. Rob, what else do we have on there? Outside of that, we also have the new Angry Patriot. Vinny, show us what you got there.
So we have the Angry Patriot bucket hat because we're in Florida. It's hot. The weather's going to start changing. Angry Patriot, Patriot in the front. The Future Looks Bright in the back. And if you get anything, if you get this or you get anything from the Angry Patriot collection, you get a free Angry Patriot mug, and this hat is ridiculous.
That's pretty sick, by the way.
I love it. No,
That
I
is
love
Put that thing
very,
on,
very
Vinny.
sick.
Put that thing on, buddy.
I
And
can't-
FYI,
Yeah.
outside of that, you're going to get dog tags, Valuetainment dog
sick.
tags that
I've seen
say
that one.
outwork, outstrategize, outimprove, and outlast for every order you place. But more importantly, we just want to say thank you to your service for everyone that served. I got a call from a guy yesterday telling me, he says, Pat, I'm out of the country in Europe. I'm wearing my Future Looks Bright hat. I'm poolside. And he says, one by one, everybody would look at me and they would say, hey, I know that. I know who that is.
Sick.
The community is getting bigger and bigger.
Hell yeah.
We want millions of people. It starts off with the first million. We want 1 million people wearing the Future Looks Bright gear. If you're somebody that loves this brand and you're optimistic about the future, go sport this Future Looks Bright. And if you know somebody that's a vet who watches the podcast, watches Valuetainment, get them this as a gift and send it to them. They'll be very happy that you did that. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.